Bryce, I think that Utah is the best team in the state of Utah right now. The country agrees with that as well. I think they have the experienced QB, which is the biggest reason that I'm still waiting to see some things from this BYU team. It's just hard for me to go on a true freshman who was not like Trevor Lawrence, even a Dylan Raiola from a recruiting standpoint, and think he's ready to win a conference title in his first year. Been impressed by BYU. I think they're a tough out for sure. I think they're one of the top 6 to 7 teams in this conference for me for sure. But Utah's quarterback, the offensive line, the way the defense is looked, and even just the statement they made in Pasadena to me is more impressive than a BYU winning at home against Stanford. So I am higher on Utah right now. I think they deserve to be ranked higher. I think they're the better team right now. How do you see these two teams in this rivalry?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. The biggest question mark for BYU right now is still the quarterback position. And against Stanford, I just didn't see enough of them pushing the ball down the field. It looked like it was more of a game plan not to lose rather than to win. And with that, it showed that they're not 100% confident that they're just going to go out there and let them rip it, because the biggest thing that they talk about, you hear Kalani Sitake, you hear Aaron Roderick talk about it, they don't want him to turn the football over. And if they constantly talk about that, that means that they're not confident in him making the correct choices to not turn the football over. That's a big problem with a quarterback in Big 12 play. Whenever you're facing good P4 defenses like they will see against Utah, it's going to be really hard to not throw interceptions and to not turn the football over. And if they don't trust him to push the football down the field, they can stack the box, they can stop the run, and that's what it comes down to. And that just alone puts Utah ahead of BYU. There's other things that I still have questions about when it comes to BYU. Trouble on special teams, they're fumbling the football. They couldn't figure out if they wanted to run a 2-point conversion or not. There was a lot of things that they still needed to clean up. So I would say right now, going into another week of college football, yes, Utah is ahead of BYU at this moment in time.
Bryce, guess which quarterback is currently dead last in the Big 12 in QBR and the only one below 40?
Is it one Bear Bachmeier?
It's the Bear. Bear is dead last there, and that's against Portland State and Stanford. I do think that's absolutely concerning. I think BYU is going to win on the road at East Carolina. My good friend Jake Hatch was concerned about that game. Just cross-country things have happened in the past. I get it. This BYU team is very talented. You mentioned the defense, but there are still some areas they have to improve, and I just don't think this is a team that is built to overcome what could end up being bad quarterback play this year. I hope it's not. I want Bear to succeed. I know I'm saying that Utah's better and he's the thing that holds him back, but I don't root against individuals, but I think it is our job to call it as we see it. And what I see right now is a BYU team that is missing that quarterback piece if they want to be a Big 12 contender.
I think it looks a lot like what Utah looked like last year. Sorry to open
it up. It does.
But it looks like BYU looks like Utah a season ago so far. Great elite defense. They just can't figure it out on the offensive side of the football. And without good offensive play, you're not going to win a lot of football games. That's just what it comes down to. I don't think that I think they'll be good enough probably still to make a bowl game, maybe win 7 or 8 just because of the way the schedule turns out. But I just don't see them competing at this moment in time unless there's a ton of teams that lose in the Big 12 and we see something similar to last year where it was 9 different teams and a bunch of tiebreakers that helped them to somehow get into the championship game. Other than that, yeah, I don't see them competing, being one of the top 4 teams in the Big 12 this season.
Yeah, I believe the Utah-BYU rivalry is a game where you throw out the record. So I'd just be shocked if that isn't a close game. I like BYU's defensive line too. Chase Roberts. I love how Carson Ryan's looked this year. He's looked awesome. LJ Martin has been a lot of fun too. But even their offensive line, they have some new tackle pieces. How are they going to hold up against the best there, right? The defensive line still coming together. And even though I think it's going to be a really good unit, there are still some, hey, when you play the best competition, how does that look? And we already mentioned Bear too. I mean, Bryce, I don't feel like a lot of people have talked about this yet. Like that game at Colorado, if I'm BYU, is very scary. And I know Colorado has their stuff going on with their quarterback right now too, but that's still a road game in the Big 12. Coach Prime draws good crowds. So that's going to be a ruckus environment. I said this last week and I'll stick to it. I actually do think BYU loses that game. What's your feel on that one right now?
If it's a high scoring affair, I don't know that BYU can keep up with Colorado. If they're able to put points up on the board. Now, I don't know that they'll be able to, because in the bowl game last year, I mean, they had the Heisman winner. They had former great Colorado great who got his jersey retired up in the rafters after he had such a great season, last year in Shedeur Sanders. since they lost so many offensive pieces a season ago, I don't know that they're going to be able to score against BYU's defense. We saw it in the bowl game. I mean, if Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders can't score against BYU's defense last year, I don't know that new guys that we aren't really sure about can either. Mm-hmm. If they can, though, maybe there's a special teams turnover. Maybe they Parker Kingston continues to fumble the football. Maybe there's some mistakes that Bear Bachmeier makes. Maybe they do turn the football over. If that's the case, and they get behind by 2 or more scores, I don't see BYU being able to sling it and them opening it up with Bear Bachmeier. That we just haven't seen it yet, and so I don't know that they can win a foot race with a team like Colorado or even later on in the schedule like TCU. TCU's a scary football team, and it might end up being like a 54-49 game, and I don't think they could score that many points. So that's the problem.
If I was going to power rank the teams in the Big 12 right now, I would go Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU. You know what that also is, Bryce? That's a key stretch on BYU's upcoming schedule. Like literally those teams in the row, I had them ranked. That's really tough with a true freshman quarterback that there's a reason like he wears 47. And Bryce, you can stop me if there's something wrong too, but like I don't think BYU thought he was going to be one of the top guys on this roster, right? Like they didn't think that he was going to win this job. I don't feel like they did. I think they thought it was going to be McKay Hillstead, and it didn't work out that way. And now you see this BYU team trying to put the pieces together, and it's a Utah team that's done a good job putting the pieces together. You mentioned the passing attack a little bit as something they need to improve on as well, but what has kind of impressed you, and then where do you feel like this Utah team needs to continue to improve if they do want to go down to in the LaVell Edwards Stadium and get a win in that one?
What's impressed me from Utah so far is that the defensive guys have stepped up. A guy like Smith Snowden, when I first saw that extra point got missed in that very first game, I was like, hey, can Smith Snowden kick field goals too? Let's get him out there and try and get him to kick a extra point if they're going to be missing extra points. I've been impressed by what Smith Snowden has looked like. And then Lander Barton as well coming over and playing at the same time. That kind of concerns me, JT. That worries me a little bit that guys like Tobias Merriweather haven't been able to figure it out, that defensive guys have had to step in and take over a portion, at the very least, of that role. And then you have the head coach, Kyle Whittingham, who goes in the press conference and says, yeah, the one thing that we need to do better is push the ball down the field and get more explosive plays. That worries me only because if that's the case and teams are not worried about the explosive ability of Utah's offense, that they could just pack the box. It's the same thing with Bear Bachmeier and a freshman quarterback. The only difference is that Devon Dampier is so good on his feet that can open up different running lanes. It's like Lamar Jackson, if we're being honest. And you have Derrick Henry in the backfield too. Now, that offensive line is a lot better. They're road graders, so I'm less worried about that. But that's just one thing. If they can't figure that out, you become a one-dimensional football team really fast, and that doesn't work out well at the top level of college football, especially when you play Matt Campbell's Iowa State Cyclones.
Very true. It's absolutely true. And that's where Utah has to continue to grow and get better. I like that they've connected with Ryan Davis a little bit more downfield. Dallin Bentley has made a couple plays, but they got to get Merriweather going. That's absolutely key to this Utah team. But Dampier, that offensive line, the way the defense looks, that's enough to have Utah ranked over BYU. I do side with the rest of the country and all the AP members who do their research. I know some of those don't. That's what we learned today in across the country. It's like such an exclusive thing to have an AP vote. How do you not do the Bryce? It just is bad, Nick.
It is bad. And then to have the excuse of, does it really matter in the end that's bad. That's a bad look for everybody. It does matter. Perception is everything. Perception is reality. And yes, your vote does matter. The other, 59 votes are not going to outweigh your votes if you're not paying attention. So just bad all around.
Today's episode of Locked On Utes is brought to you by our friends at Mazda. How great is it to have the college football season back, right? It's been great game after great game already to start the year. And Mazda makes craft cars for those who do more than simply move. I mean, whether you're trying to get to your buddy's tailgate or trying to get to the game, you want to arrive in style. And that's what Mazda can do. They deliver confidence with every ride with more IHSS top safety picks awards than anyone else. How about from footwork to breath work, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. With all-wheel drive standard in every SUV crossover, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every moment count, the impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved when you head over and get a Mazda today. That's going to do it for today's Locked On Utes. Make sure you guys check out the Locked On College Football show we have, as well. The Locked On College Kickoff with Drake Toll hosting on Fire TV. Also our Locked On Big 12 if you're in the market for a second listen today. But that is going to do it for today's Locked On Utes. Make sure you guys head over and subscribe, and we will see you on tomorrow's show.